100 companies on the stock market and 12 are black owned. So that's like less than a percentage of 1%. So when you think about it, it's like, as you said, that's really the real world to build wealth. $1 billion of wealth is through a publicly traded market. So when we're starting brands and we're starting, clothing lines, stuff like that, we're not thinking that this is going to become a publicly traded company. We don't even have the idea because there's so little vision for it. Is that your idea to actually take your company public one day?
Yeah, I mean, think about this, y'all. When we look at Fortune 500 companies, we make up a 10th of 1% of all the Fortune 500 companies. That's why when you look at it, we look at the workers. We make up 75% of all these Fortune 500 companies, seeing people that look like us working for these companies at the entry level position. We have to change that narrative, and the only way we can change that narrative is we're gonna have to start creating more products and brands. And also, if we're gonna take our company public, we're gonna have to go through that process. It's not an overnight process. Building a great team, people around you that can build that infrastructure to say, you know what, before I sell my business, let me go take it public and let me go make some real money. Because that's how Elon Musk able to make all these cars. It was like he was in a struggle like anybody else. So think about it. We believe in that Tesla and said, you know what, this gonna blow up. Let me put some money into it. Why we can't do it? But we have to change that narrative. We got to start believing in each other and trust the process and let us grow these brands. Because at the end of the day, we're in a community. The more we make, the more we give. That's our model. These companies been building these big brands, and it's not going back to our community and our culture. That's why we are destroying our communities and our culture, because we are scared, we're desperate, we don't know what to do. And so, I mean, you don't have to be the smartest guy in the world. I wasn't the smartest guy in the world. So think about this. Growing, keep educating yourself, putting the work in, and getting experts on your team. So my thing is, we gotta play chess and stop playing checkers.
That's interesting. One of the things you said just now was that the more we make, the more we give back. And so when they asked his son, when he signed his deal, what's he gonna do with the $2 million? The first thing he said was, the more we make, the more we give back to the community. And so one of the things you're doing, especially for marketing, especially for rap specifically, is that you're highlighting the superheroes of our community, right? So whether it's O.T.E Baby or whether it's entrepreneurs like Pinky Cole who are on those bats. Can you talk about the marketing and the very intentionality of it?
Yeah, so my thing is we bossing up, we create future bosses, we giving opportunities to people in the community to be a part of this and take this journey with us, because we don't want to be the only people with our products on the shelf. We want it to be thousands of people that look like us. That's the only way we're going to build economic empowerment. So my thing is we got to stop hating on each other, come together, build, and help each other. So my thing is, if you really want to do something, like learn from my mistakes, learn from the good things that I was able to create. Stop getting caught up thinking that, well, I can't do this guy needs so much money. I created my business with $10,000. So that just lets you guys know you don't need millions of dollars to do this. I started my business with $10,000. I also took $25,000 and gave it to Michael Jackson attorney because I was seeking information and knowledge. So don't be afraid to invest in yourself, and that's what it's about today. Everybody that's out there, how many people got dreams and goals? Put your hands up. See, this is a beautiful thing. How many people willing to invest in themselves? Put your hands up. So I just want to tell y'all something. Keep your hand up for 1 minute. I just want to tell y'all, you are your best investment. Don't give up on yourself. There's no limit to your dreams and goals. Put your trust and faith in God, and nothing is impossible. I love y'all.
Yeah. No limit soldier.
Major key. Let me ask you this, as far as reinventing yourself. Very important. You've been in this game for over 25 years, and when I look at the great ones, I look at them, when I look at Kanye West, started as a producer, became the best rapper, but now he became a billionaire off of Yeezy brand, sneakers. When I look at Jay, everybody knows Jay, but he became a billionaire off of spirits. And he didn't become a billionaire off of music. So how important is it to reinvent yourself over the course of time and always look at the next play?
Well, I think for me, man, salute to all those guys you just named, man. They did some incredible things in this industry, in this world, as black men. I think my thing is, I'm gonna take over the grocery stores, the food industry.
Yeah.
And, I want people to know I ain't got to look over my shoulders no more. Every time I jump in my car, I got the pack on me, but it's legit. So, you know, we used to have to look over our shoulders every time. You pull me over and I got grits, rice, potato chip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the only black man in the grocery store. They're like, man, won't you be the extra rap? I said, man, hold up, now slow down, sir. I done changed my life. There's a bunch of y'all that changed y'all life. Why I can't change my life? So you right. So you gotta believe in what you believe in. Don't be afraid to grow. But I also had to cut some people off.
That's right.
So don't be afraid to cut people off. Too much of their friends, family members. It could be a spouse. It could be whatever. They ain't on the same track you on. They holding you back. Showing you got to go. Homie, you got to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm gonna help you. But if I gotta cut you off because you stopping me from getting to where I'm going at, my destination, my growth, if you ain't pushing me, I don't want you around me.
Come
I'm
on, man.
for running with me. Don't run with me no more. Push me. Push me. Tell me don't give up. Tell me don't stop. Tell me don't quit. I'm tired of people looking me in the face and just like, if I can't do nothing for you, then we ain't real.
Yeah.
Well, when you gonna do something for me? How you gonna do something for me because you ain't trying to do nothing? I tell people everybody has 24 hours. What you're doing with your 24 hours is gonna dictate your life, your future, what you have. And your friends and the people around you gonna dictate the same thing. I can tell who you are by the people you hang with. I tell people all the time, I'd rather fly with the eagles than walk with the pigeons. And sometimes eagles gotta fly alone. Most of the time they're flying alone because everybody don't believe in your dreams and your goals. I mean, when I was growing up, a lot of people told me, man, you ain't gonna make it. Even people close to me like, man, that shit ain't gonna work. I'm like, damn, you didn't even give me a chance. They was telling me, man, you ain't no Tupac, you ain't no Biggie Smalls. I said, damn, I know I'm from the South, but I'm gonna make this happen. So I kept chasing my dream and my goals. So I'm telling y'all, you gotta find your niche. And the way you reinvent yourself, don't be afraid to grow up. Don't be afraid to make the right investments. And don't be afraid to invest in yourself. So it starts from there.
Good. So, I mean, speaking of assets and liabilities, that's obviously the name of our show overall. That doesn't just relate to money. It could be relationships, like you're saying. Like, if people are taking from you and they're depreciating your value, you need to get rid of it. So in true assets over liabilities, if you watch the show, we want to quickly just give them something from a definition from our asset journal. So this is brought to you by our friends at Allies called the Asset Journal, and the word itself is assets. Because a lot of times people don't really have the full definition of it. So an asset, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, asset is anything that, you know, adds value or appreciates over the course of time. So stocks, real estate, you know, these are all assets. Musical catalogs are assets. And I feel like a lot of times in our community, when we say assets over liability, it's not just a slogan, it's reality. Because we put too much emphasis on liabilities. Like cars are liability, right? Jewelry a lot of times is a liability. It might make you feel good, it has street cred, but it doesn't have any real value in the real world. So it's like when we start to change our mindset, it becomes extremely difficult to spend money on liabilities once you're educated on assets. Because we look at everything as an opportunity. So instead of spending that $1,000, like I could invest in that $1,000. Now that $10,000 that you invest in your company would be hundreds of millions of dollars, but you could have easily spent that $10,000 in a nightclub.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all something that make a lot of sense that they don't teach us. Credit is so important. So think about this. Now, I want to show y'all that you might want that nice car, but let's buy that car if it's over 6,000 pounds, and let's put that car in a company name or LLC so we can write it off and get that car for free. So anytime you go and buy a car from now on, I'm giving y'all the game. Make sure it's over 6,000 pounds. Make sure you got a company or LLC, put that in there and write it off, and then you got a free car. You could get whatever car you want. Say if it's a Benz, it's a Cadillac, it's a Mercedes, the big one, it don't matter. You can write these cars off so we don't, and guess what? We can lease it. We don't have to own nothing. We can't take it with us. The most important thing that I realized, man, I'm keeping my money and saving my money while I'm out here leasing these cars. I can get a new one every year. And so we got to start thinking like that. They've been programming their cultures like that for years. We don't understand that. And so I go to a dealership and look for a car that's over 6,000 pounds, and I'm writing it off.
Yeah, and once you realize that the tax code was made for entrepreneurs and business owners, it wasn't made for employees, then you start to look at life completely different. Like even me and Troy, we went to Mexico a few months ago with our families, and it's a company retreat. It's not a vacation. Because we in Mexico and we talk about strategy, we planning, we filming content. So what's the difference between a company retreat and a vacation? One is a write-off, one isn't. So it's when you want to go to Miami, right? Instead of just going to Miami, putting it on your credit card and spending a bunch of money, why don't you actually have a company? Why don't you actually have some employees, your friends? Why don't you go? Why don't you have a lunch? Why don't you meet somebody? Why don't you attend an event? Now that actually becomes a company retreat. Now that becomes tax deductible. This whole thing is a game, you just gotta understand it. And once you understand it, you realize that all of these things are made for entrepreneurs and investors. It's not made for employees. And as long as you have that employee mindset, you're never gonna be able to reach the real value of wealth in this country, because you have to understand, these laws were written by somebody. So they were written by people that want to take advantage of it. But of course, the minority is never going to look out for the majority. So the top people are going to make the laws for themselves, and they're educated. But the vast majority of people weren't educated, but now you are educated. So now that you have the information, there's no excuse not to utilize the information.
But think about this, y'all. Did y'all get what he said? We just told y'all how to turn a liability into an asset. You're going to buy a 6,000-pound car right off, because that's some of the best cars. You know, it's the big buyers. You'll be able to do whatever you want to do, or look however you want to look. Also be able to take a vacation under your company. Also be able to write off things off of your company. So all the things that you do depends what type of company you have. You'll be able to write these things off. We're giving y'all the blueprint. So you're looking at Revolt Summit. We're giving y'all the blueprint. Write that down, take it with you. Also, write down your dreams and your goals, like what you want to do. Every time that I was able to be successful, I was able to go back and look at it. Whether I wrote it on my mirror, I got to start preparing myself. The same way they prepare us for school. Because think about a lot of stuff that I took in school, I wasn't able to use it as I got older.
That's right.
So think about some of this business stuff, from credit to liability, assets, and knowing how to write stuff off. We can use this.
Oh man, the time done ran out. Oh man, we ain't got.
No air, no mic. What the fuck? I'm just saying, it's hot now. You take it.
I know I'm paying Master B, thank you, B. Hey, we love you too, P.
We decided to go after NIL deals with companies overseas, international companies. And I think that's why I was able to get the deal that he was able to get. I mean, to be in college and be able to make $2 million, I mean, that's incredible. Coming from where I come from the projects where I only got $400 a month in college. So the game is definitely changed.
Yeah, so speaking of your sons, we were talking about Mercy Building. I mean, this is 5-star. I've heard recently he's transferred to Oak Hill. And so when we talk about NIL deals, he could be on the cusp of having maybe one of the biggest ones in history. What's that like for you, knowing that, you know, NBA was once a dream of yours, but now your son has a really solid chance of fulfilling that dream, and he's going to Houston, by the way.
Yeah,
That means a lot to you.
I mean, he already know we're going to school at, and he's probably going to be the biggest NIL deal ever because he chose Houston. And then the way he's able to use his talent and use his education. But what I love about it most, both of them is 8 students. So I just want to let y'all know, even though we come from poverty, we come from the ghetto, we want to change that narrative with passing down generational curses to be able to pass down generational wealth. So the knowledge and information that my kid has in 11th grade, he'll probably be the biggest NIL deal ever by the time he graduates from high school.
Cut over that.
So,
Yeah.
you're not having full appreciation of that. You're not familiar. So your one son has the largest NIL deal, I think currently $2 million. And then your other son is on the verge of having the bigger deal than that. So I say that to say, a few years ago, you made history with No Limit Sports. Any thoughts of bringing that back now that you have 2 sons potentially going into professional sports?
Well, I think that I'm going to see as their careers progress because just because they my sons, I taught them hard work. I want to let you guys know, like, nothing is given to you. Hard work is what's going to pay off. I taught my sons hard work. Like, don't worry about what I have. Don't worry about what I can do for you. It's about what you can do for yourself because I want you to take the ball to the next level. I mean, if we're going to be able to pass down generational wealth, then they have to know how to work hard. They need to know how to sacrifice. We put God first in our family because without God, we wouldn't be here.
Yes, sir.
And just knowing how to overcome all the hate.
That's
Think
right.
about it. Like, you
That's
got to
right.
overcome hate in this world, you won't be successful
That's
because
right.
there's a lot of self-hate. People are not celebrating other people's success.
That's right.
I've always celebrated other people's success. That's why God keeps blessing me and my
Amen.
family.
Amen,
That's
brother.
incredible. One of the things that I've noticed from your children is the hard work. And so, yeah, dad is super successful, but they're figuring out a way to generational wealth on their own. So that's encouraging as well. How involved are you in the process of the deals themselves, right? You said you did with the international deal, but how involved are you? I know independence has been your thing, and turning down deals that aren't great is something that you mastered. So how involved are you in the process of saying, all right, this is the deal, and what's the feedback from them when it happens?
Well, I think the most important thing is being able to go through these deals with your family. So it's not just about me. It's about them making the right decisions for their future. But at the same time, I'm going to oversee it. And I think a lot of people look at life like, well, I don't want to be in my dad's shadow. I don't want to be in my mom's shadow. But you know what? Other races been doing this forever, where they've been teaching their kids about credit. I mean, other cultures, their kids have good credit at 4 years old. They're already planning this stuff. We don't do that because we just think about our town. And I just think that it's just been a blessing that I'm able to be there and to get to where I'm at, because y'all know I come from nothing.
That's
so
right.
if I could do it, I know y'all could do it. I come from the worst of the worst. But even though I lived in a project, I kept educating myself. I took school serious. So I just think take that basic education serious and realize what you want out of life. So that's the way we do it. We do it as a family.
Let's talk about the art of turning down a deal. You've turned down a lot of legendary deals. You talked about it before, as far as when you first came in, you got offered $1 million. I think from Jimmy Iovine, you turned it down. And at the time, I think your brother was mad at you, but it turned into a $100 million empire. So a lot of people here are artists, creatives, and it's difficult to turn down a deal, especially, like you said, you come from nothing. You have an opportunity to get 100,000, 500. What's the art of turning down a deal?
Well, it's just, my whole motto was never do a deal when you're desperate. And I think a lot of people like, man, I gotta pay my bills. Think about it. What if you make it and you only take $100,000 and then that surpass who you are as talent? Then now they're selling millions and millions of records because we have a lot of artists out here that are taking bad deals just because they need the money now. And my thing is, anybody out there that's taking these deals, stop doing that and start looking at your future. Look at your self-worth. Know your worth, know your value. I think a lot of people don't know that. They like, I got these bills to pay, so what are you really worth? Because when I walked out that office with Jimmy Iovine, I only had $500 in my pocket, and I'm going back to the project. But I said, if this white man gonna give me $1 million, how much am I really worth?
Amen.
And so that's what we gotta start doing. We gotta start thinking like that, stop being desperate.
Yeah.
Because I know once I get back to the project, I got 12, 14 more people that I gotta help. And so that $1 million would have went like nothing. But education,